Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the show that never ends. My name is Rod, and I'm your happy hippie. Friday evening, I'm filming this. Just want to do a video on some recent finds I've got. In the background, Justin Townes Earl. Really nice CD. Son of Steve Earl. That CD cover's seen better days, but still plays good. This is one I pre-ordered a few months ago. I'm going to start with Jerry Garcia. Is a series they're putting out. This is volume 14, and this was recorded January 27th, 1986. Just him and John Kahn. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. John is on stand-up bass and Jerry's on acoustic guitar. They're doing some Dead covers, of course. They're doing a few Bob Dylan songs. Jerry always, it seemed, did a lot of Dylan. I know they were friends. 2 record set, limited to 5,000 copies. I keep the hype sticker because I'm a dork. Lit up, I don't even want to say pamphlet, lit up 2-page information about the concert and about the album. Played it several times since I've got it. I think it came in the mail last week. And like I said, I think I pre-ordered it in March. So I had to wait to get it, but it was definitely worth the wait. Very reasonable price. If you like Jerry Garcia, you dig acoustic music, this is a great acoustic album. And some of the songs on here they're doing, Friend of the Devil, When I Paint My Masterpiece, Run for the Roses, Ripple, Good Night Irene. They end it with Good Night Irene. Just a fun little album. Jerry, you can tell, was having a good time, just enjoying the audience and enjoying playing his music for the audience. So that's one I've really been getting into. Love that album. Glad to have it. Another one I picked up, I pre-ordered, Son Volt. This is Trace. It's the 20th anniversary of their album, their debut album, Trace. Music on vinyl, classic album, 180 gram, audiophile vinyl pressing. And music sounds great on this. I'm not going to pull it out. I don't think there was anything with it. The hell with it, I'll pull it out, man. The hell, huh? Polylined inner sleeve. Beautiful black vinyl. Double check. I don't think single. It's not a gatefold. No information really about the album. But if you remember the album from when it came out, I guess you really don't need that. It was 95 when it came out. I was just a young buck in radio. Just in the last year or 2 years, I had made music director, and I remember thinking I was on top of the world because this is the format we're on. And it came out right around the same time that Wilco came out with their debut album, AM. And as everyone knows, I don't need to tell you, Son Volt and Wilco both came out of Uncle Tupelo. And I remember me and J.D. Rose, the outlaw J.D. Rose, was the program director, and he's now he's actually a record promoter now. But anyway, back then we were talking about which one we liked more. And as much as I love Wilco, we both leaned to Son Volt at that time. Just because this is just a great album. Tear-Stained Eyes, fantastic songs, great Americana album. If somebody asked me, hey man, what was a 90s Americana? You would give them this album and say, this is Americana. This is what Americana is. And that's just my opinion, but there's a lot of people that would probably agree with that. Being in that format back then, that was just the shit. That was just great. We got to see him in concert way back in the day in Austin. Fantastic show. And overall, like Wilco more, I think. Jeff Tweedy is just amazing. I think they've grown really great. But for the debut album, when they both came out, Son Volt. I mean, that's an album you have to own. Singer-songwriter, fan, Americana fan, whatever. If you lean in this direction at all, this is an album you have to own. Have to own it, man. Okay, those are the two new ones. These are some used ones I bought. I'm going to start with this little Billy. Jeff Beck. Found a great copy, an original issue of Jeff Beck's debut solo album. Yeah, he had played with Faces and Small Faces. He was, obviously the frontman for the Jeff Beck group. But this is the first one he went out completely solo, even though it's not really a solo album, because he's got Rod Stewart on vocals, who was in Faces. He's got Ronnie Wood on bass, who was in Faces. So it's kind of like he just dropped the group off of Jeff Beck group, and this was the first one simply with his name. Great album, great bluesy album. Got that from a friend of mine. She gave me a cat. Thank you. She gave me a really good deal. Another one I got from her was The Byrds. And I'd seen this album around. I'd never heard it. The Byrds, of course, featuring David Crosby, Roger McGuinn, Michael Clark, Chris Hillman. The quality of vinyl is not great. I put it at a good. Just good, not very good or anything. I've only played it once. Excuse the glare. I'm glad I picked it up. I'm going to give it some more listens, spend some more time with it. Big fan of David Crosby. Love his work with Crosby, Stills, and Nash. I'm definitely going to give that some more spins before I give my opinion. And this is Pink Floyd More. And it's really crazy because I picked this up and like 2 days later, oh my God, my mind just slipped. Hold 1 second. Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. I just want to give proper respect, proper props, if you will. Like the day after I got this, the Record Crate, is that his name? Yeah. Our friend over at the Record Crate was discussing this on his YouTube channel. You've heard of YouTube, haven't you? I think it was last night. And I was like, wow, I had just got this album. So it was really cool to hear the discussion about this on his channel yesterday. This is a soundtrack to the movie More. I've never seen the movie More, but I'd love to. This album came out in 1968. Or excuse me, 1969. I'm sorry. 1969. Actually, I wrote it down. June 13th. June 13th, 1969. First full album without Syd Barrett. He was on a couple songs on Saucer Full of Secrets, but this was the first album without him at all. And I've seen this album around for forever, man. I remember when I got The Wall back in 1980, and I really got into Pink Floyd. I wanted to find everything about him. I'd see this in record stores, and at 13, 14 years old, I just assumed it was like, I don't know, maybe a compilation album full of old lost tracks by them because of the title More. I ignored it for years and years. I've heard it once or twice, but this is the first time I've owned it. And this is a great album. Very, very cool. Very melodical. Just, I love the cover. Kind of takes you far away. I hear a lot of people say the album is no good, man. If you like Pink Floyd, don't listen to More. I had a guy, and the guy actually sells albums for a living, told me, man, if you dig Floyd, don't buy that album because you won't like it. I have to disagree. If you're already into Pink Floyd, buy this album. If you don't own it or if you haven't heard it, check it out. If a young kid or someone who had never really heard a lot of their music and they don't own anything by Floyd, I don't know if I'd recommend starting with this particular album, to be honest, but it's a good, solid album. I saw it in an antique shop. Get the record out. And a friend of mine, it's his antique shop. It's around the corner from the one I work at, because I work in a district of antique shops. And he had just got it in, laid down the little bit of money he wanted for it. It was ironic, like I said, the next day they were discussing it. So I'm glad I picked that one up. And last but not least, Eastern Front. This features a lot of East Coast hardcore bands, 80s hardcore, 80s punk. I bought it. It's a cool label. I bought it because as a kid in high school, I really loved this shit. And I remember the bands like Flipper and TSOL, which stood for True Sounds of Liberty, DOA. As far as punk hardcore goes, it's a really, really solid album. Probably doesn't fit into my musical taste anymore. And I thought, well, I hang on to it for sentimental reasons, but what sentimental reasons do I have? I don't remember it when it came out. So I'm going to give that one away. So look for that soon, maybe in the next video or two. I'm not going to have a contest or nothing. I'm just going to kind of hand it out to somebody who I think would like it the most. So if you're into hardcore music, hardcore punk, or whatever, you're into this scene, let me know in the comments below that you'd be interested in the album. And in my next video, or my next 2 videos or so, I'm going to elaborate on how I'm going to give it away. But there's not going to be a contest or no shit like that. Hope everyone's having a good night. Whatever you're doing, do it well. Be good to each other. Peace.